It is Friday. This won't be broadcasted on a Friday. It's live. We're live. Marc Wagner here from DentalBytes, Dentist on Demand, back in studio. Unfortunately, my guest isn't here today in studio. That's the way it goes. But I will be joining my guest in Toronto this coming week. I will bring her in. We have Mellissa Barlock in from Enspire Dental Opportunities. How are you doing today?
Yay, I'm super excited to be here with you virtually, but I love your setup. I have to come visit.
You next time you're out in Vancouver, and I have something to show you. It might weird you out a little bit. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
So this is us at the PDC. I'm literally, I was standing beside you.
That is funny. I didn't even realize.
So here's the thing. So I was, I'll just hang on. Let me jump it so I'm on here. I was literally running across the floor and saw that you guys were taking the photo, and I literally jumped in at the last moment.
Remember that. And I remember walking away saying, that guy's really fun. He's cool. I like him.
Who the hell? Yeah, where did that guy go?
I like him. And look, here we are.
There you go.
The universe, interesting.
The universe does some crazy things. It's cool. It's cool. Yeah. So tell me, like, how are things in your neck of the woods? I know you dive deep into staffing, and this is an ongoing thing for us in the industry. What are you seeing out there? Are things getting better out there? But first, like, let's backtrack even more. I want to know. I want to know how you got into all this craziness. How did you get into the industry? I want to hear a little bit about yourself too.
Oh yeah, gosh, that's a story. I don't know how long we have, Mark, but I'll try and give a shortened version of it, because my background actually is not dental at all. Yeah. I incorporated my company, I guess it'll be almost 6 years ago now. And prior to that, my background is sales, marketing, recruitment, and HR, and business development as well. So there was kind of a personal transition, we'll call it, around.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's where I believe that, you make lemonade out of lemons. And if there's not a door, then you build one. And that's what I did. So I actually had, in my previous career company, I had a lot of clients who were many different industries, realtors, mortgage brokers, financial advisors, and dentists who had their own practices. And I was working with this one particular dentist in my previous company. I was helping him and his team on relationship marketing and building team culture, and helping him with the retention of patients, and also with his staff through the system that I was implementing and teaching. And he had asked me on a number of occasions to help him with staffing with his offices, because at the time he had a couple, 2 or 3 offices, and he had a big vision to have multiple and become a DSO ultimately. And so at the time I was quite busy, and 2 young kids. They're a little bit older now. They're 14 and 16 now, but I was super busy. And when this change or transition opportunity, we'll say, in my life happened, I ended up reaching out to him and letting him know what was going on, and that I needed a plan B, and I would entertain the idea of helping him with recruitment, but I really wanted to be my own boss. So I ended up opening up my own company, Enspire Dental Opportunities. So EN stands for, like, N is entrepreneurial. Inspire is to inspire. Like, my goal is to inspire somebody somehow along the way, and that really fills my cup. So he said yes. He said, yep, absolutely. And so I ended up working with him and helping him initially with auxiliary staff, and he saw that I was pretty good at it, and then had me working on associates, and helped him build practices to the point where he actually has, I think, close to 30 dental practices, dental offices over 3 provinces now. So obviously he had to hire a full-time HR team at that size. And so I started getting a lot of referrals from other dentists. As we know, the dental space is quite large and vast, but it's also small. Like everybody
It
knows
is. Yeah.
everybody,
Yeah.
thing,
Yeah. Yeah.
which can be good or bad, right? You can use
Yeah.
it to your advantage, but as long
Yeah.
as you're working with integrity, which I always, that's one of our core values, of course, and started making a name for ourselves here. And so I hired my own team and got a couple recruiters to help me out, and admin, and
some AI,
accountant
and some AI, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, it's fine. We can talk. I think everybody should. If you're afraid, just get into it, dive into it. I think it's important. So I want to talk about this. So yes, we're filling positions, but we talked about this before we jumped on. Like, what is the difference in between an asset, like a strong person in that clinic versus one that needs help? What makes the difference? And then I want to get into some, what the person that needs help, what do they need? Like, is it support? Is it better leadership? I'll let you take it away.
Great question. And it varies depending on the dental office, obviously, right? Depends on the culture. And there's a number of things going on. And the unique situation that we have as a dental recruiting company is that we really have two clients, two audiences. So we have the dental practice owner, the dentist, or the hiring manager, and they could be both the same thing, the point of contact. And we also have the dental professional or the dental candidate looking for a job. So we hear feedback from both sides. And so much experience, like hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of dental professionals over the last 5-6 years, sharing what they're looking for. And ultimately, what we hear over and over from the dental practice owner, the dentist who's looking for staff, they, of course, skill is necessary. But the top 2 or 3 things that they're looking for are, team player, somebody who's willing to learn, somebody with a good attitude. So many times my clients will say to me, Mellissa, like we're tired of people with the entitlement and the people who, are just, we're not looking for a seat to fill. We don't want that. We want a team player. We want somebody that we can invest our time into and create a family. And so we're looking for somebody with a great attitude, willing to learn.
Yeah.
And on the flip side of that, you have the dental professional who are looking for jobs, who are kind of saying the same thing, which is interesting because there's still a gap, and I'll get into that. But they're looking for a family as well. They're looking for an environment where they feel appreciated and valued. And 9 times out of 10, like one of the questions that we ask when candidates come to us looking for a job, if they're changing offices, we always ask, well, why are you leaving? Why?
Great question to ask. Yes.
Of course. Like, why are you, we want to know, obviously, for many reasons, but the number one reason that we hear is because they don't feel appreciated or valued.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And it's not about the money. Whereas a lot of dentists, they think, oh, well, I'm paying them so much. Why aren't they staying? Well, it's because it's not always about the money. It's almost an expectation now, especially with the landscape being the way it is in the labor market. People and the expectations have definitely shifted. Where, dental staff kind of have more of an upper hand, let's say.
Yes.
They're in high demand, so they can demand more. And that's that's economics. And that's kind of what's happening right now, is they're expecting good pay, but also an environment where they feel valued, appreciated, and where they want to come to work.
And, I've seen this time and time again, and it's those clinics that are the family clinics that take care of their people like a family, making sure that they're heard is one thing. There's better culture there, and like what happens in that clinic? How does that get away from that? And is that is it a leadership thing? Is it a personality thing? Is it just the mix of people? How do things derail from staying on track?
Yeah. And, it's hard too, because gosh, being a dentist, there's so much going on because dentists typically they're going to school to become a dentist, a technician, and they're really, really good at that. But they don't really offer in dental school great management programs. I know that there's, now they're starting to focus a little more on that, but the reality is they're going to school for dentistry. And ultimately that's what we want as patients, is to have a good dentist. But us as patients, we're also looking for a fantastic environment when we walk through the front door. And I wholeheartly believe that leadership stems from the top down. And this is another kind of cliche saying, but the speed of the leader is the speed of the pack. Yeah. And so people are looking to leadership. Your team is looking for leadership. And so if you're asking your team to do something that you're not doing yourself, then you're creating even more of a disconnect, and probably making the environment more toxic, because then you're creating resentment. So do what you expect your team to do.
And taking responsibility, taking ownership of that, right?
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah. I think it definitely starts with the leadership. And I think more and more dental practice owners are realizing that. I think that it was really polarized during the pandemic. And I don't love to talk about the pandemic, but I did notice a shift in that a lot of my clients who had a great team culture before it happened had an even stronger team afterwards.
It was time, let's take positives out of it. I don't like talking about it either, but I think everybody used it as an opportunity to really make adjustments and really put things out on the table and think about, it stopped the world. So, we all had some time to think, right?
Right. And those who actually took some time to reflect and think about the busy dentist who's chairside, who doesn't have time to reflect, I mean, so busy. Yeah. So for some that took advantage of the fact that, okay, well, I have forced time now, I can either make the best of it, which most of them did. And there were some great positive outcomes out of that.
So you talked about the pack. Okay. We talked about the leader, right? What about the person, and how do I say this politely? The person that's kind of fallen behind, the one that needs the most help. Because at the end of the day, if the pack runs together, and if there's somebody slowing the team down, in a sense, right. What are we doing to support and help that person when the resources are capped? What are we doing for that straggler?
Yeah. So great question. So I'm assuming you're asking from the dental practice owner perspective.
Correct. Yeah. Or how do we support that particular person as a team as well? Because let's face it, we want our dentist, chairside, right? They might not have all the time to really deal with it too.
Yeah. So there's always going to be one, right? There's always going to be one that you're like, there's just this one person that's toxic, and sometimes, I mean, there's a number of things. First of all, if you were to start from de novo, it's from scratch, from square one, and you really had time to think about this, which usually never happens, but really getting clear on what your values are, what your core values as a person and as a company are. And I'm not just talking about slap your core values on the wall. I'm talking about take the time to imagine what you want your team to look like. Because when you're clear as a leader, and this is any leadership role, by the way, when you're clear as a leader on what your goals are, what your vision is for your company, and you're able to clearly set and define that vision and goal, you're able to share it with your team, and people feel more comfortable knowing where they're going. Mm-hmm. Because all too often, a lot of times leadership, they don't even have a clear vision themselves. They don't have a clear idea of what their core values are having those set of things that help you to make those decisions within your practice, personally and professionally. Yeah. Right. Having those guiding principles. And that will help you make decisions on when you're hiring people as well. Because when you're hiring people, you want to make sure that you have the same, at least those core values that are in alignment.
Yep.
And it's okay, by the way, if people have different value system than you. It just means they're not the right fit. And so when I'm doing, lectures or training sessions with with dental students or with dental practice owners, I always start off with getting clear on what your core values are personally, so that you can actually, we want to match the right person with the right office, because otherwise it's a waste of time. It's never going to work.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a bit like matchmaking is a big deal. It really is. I totally agree.
Absolutely. Like we treat our, if you were to treat your interview like a first date, right? That's kind of what it is. You're trying to get to know the other person. And it's not just the interviewer interviewing the interviewee. It's not just the dentist interviewing the hygienist, for example, or the associate dentist. You want it both ways, because you want them to feel comfortable, so that their true authentic side comes out. And that's what you want most of. So it's really important to know what that is. So finding out what the core values are, but also if you have somebody in the office who's just not quite there, it could be a number of things. It could be that they weren't trained properly. It could be that there's something going on in their life that's personal, that is preventing them from being effective. And that's where good communication comes in as a leader, is having that team culture where your team can come to you, or you have some sort of communication system where they, check-ins, maybe in your huddle, or maybe you have like touching points where every couple of weeks or every quarter you have a sit down, or having that relationship where they're comfortable coming to you, or you ask them, checking in with your team, just like, hey, Marc, how's it going? Like, how's it really going today? I noticed
it's Friday, so I'm okay.
TGIF, right? But how is it really going on, and how can I best support you? So as a leader, coming to them first is so key, and you can get so much information from people.
And the dictatorships don't really work. They don't work very well.
Not anymore.
No.
Those days are gone.
Yeah.
It really is a two-sided relationship where both parties want to be respected and they want to be heard. And, that's important. So the quicker that dentists and dental practice owners and all business owners, as soon as we realize that, I mean, me included, people want to feel valued and have purpose in their life.
Purpose is everything. It really is. Yeah. It's when people feel like I think it's, when they don't feel like they're contributing, that's a tough place to be. It really is. So how what things are we doing on a regular basis then? Like what activities, or whether it's a huddle, whether it's a team event, like what are we doing now to promote a healthy culture within the practice?
Yeah. So great question. Again, things that I like to teach and share and use examples of some clients that we have that are fantastic at this, is knowing first, like I shared, what their values are, but also implementing them by, team huddles in the morning, if you want to call that, your team get together, really setting the tone. And it doesn't have to be long, just a touching base, checking in with people, maybe setting up expectations or goals for the day, maybe doing fun little activities, having a fun Friday where people come in and you have like a theme, or it could be a potluck, or, having team get-togethers, maybe having like, if you've got goals for the day, every time somebody hits a goal or does something positive, have like a little jar where you've got like you put like fake little coins or something in there where you do a certain amount of coins. And then there's like a team dinner or a team get together, team trainings, doing trainings together.
I think that's a cool idea. Yeah.
I think training and development definitely needs to be a key, because like you had just mentioned, the purpose and the drive and contribution are huge, especially within the health
Yes.
care system, right?
Yeah.
Within healthcare, people are in healthcare because they want to help,
Yes.
and they want to feel appreciated and have that contribution. So 9 times out of 10, again, it really isn't about the money. It's about contribution, feeling valued, and giving back. So it could be the littlest thing, Mark, is saying something like, hey, Sally, I noticed that you were fantastic with this patient today. Like, well done. Would you be able to share what you did at our next team huddle with the team? And so you're giving recognition, but also leading by example and sharing ideas. So you're creating this atmosphere of collaboration and communication
and openness. Yeah, I love that. How are we also incorporating the front of the practice into this as well? Because there are, I've been through, I'll use this as an example. I was going through Kelowna, and Todd's is a little, in the interior of BC, it's like a little convention that they have through a practice. And I was like, oh, are we going to see a Todd's tomorrow? Are you going to come to the booth and come and chat? And it was the front of the clinic, and they went, no, it's all the girls in the back are going. Like what are we doing to involve everybody?
I see. And I dare I say, I think that's a mistake. I think that, the team that plays together stays together. And I know I'm using these really cliches, but it's so true. If you can include, imagine your family. Imagine you have I had 3 brothers and a sister growing up. So there's 5 of us. And my parents saying hey, all of you can come except that one over there.
Yeah.
What's that going to do to the morale, right? That's going to automatically create, negative feelings for one, a little bit of animosity and jealousy as well. So that's creating a toxicity in the dental space that can be completely avoided by leadership. So I think no matter what, invest in your team. Think of your team as an asset, not a liability on your balance sheet. Okay. Yes. Because once you start thinking of them as an asset and you start pouring into them, that asset is going to appreciate. That whatever you appreciate, that will appreciate. And that's money, that's people, that is anything in life that you focus positively on, you will get that back. So I would recommend always including your front for everything. I think it's really important for them to understand the back as well as the back understanding the front. So why not? Again, I understand the time constraints and the financial constraints, but what about having, a team from the back shadowing the front every once in a while and putting them, reversing the roles? Obviously, the front wouldn't be able to do certain things, but why not have them kind of standing chairside and doing what they can do just to see the stresses so that there's more of an understanding. I think if you can move people around the dental office and have them understand everybody's stresses, the communication is going to be better. They're going to have more empathy. Yes. And it creates camaraderie. It's just like traveling. I love to travel, and I want my kids to travel because you're not going to fight with a place that you've connected to. You're going to have goodwill and good feelings with places that you visit in different cultures. And, I lived in Japan for a couple of years.
Oh, no way.
I'm
super jealous. Where in Japan?
In Onoda, which is Yamaguchi Prefecture, just south of Honshu. And
very cool.
I didn't speak the language when I first went there, and I'd sit around the table with my students with a dictionary because we didn't have our phones.
Yeah.
And we were able to communicate because I was open to learning and they were open to me. And it's amazing. Humans are good by nature and they don't want to argue. People want to be uplifted and uplift other people. And so if we put each other in other people's shoes, as opposed to separating them, I think it would make for, not just a better dental office, but the world. Imagine if everybody did that.
Yes, absolutely. And, there's a lot of things that are buried, a lot of things that it's people's pasts, right? Like that, you talk about the family, right? Not inviting the one sister out or on the trip,
right?
But that that over time, as a as a society, like if we include more everyone in the conversation, and I think conversation is key to it all. It ends wars, right? If we're all talking and we're all encouraged to talk. I know there's some folks that are not encouraged to talk. So if we build certain forums within business in practices where it's okay to like, hey, you might not be okay with something. We want to hear about that. You're not going to get in trouble. Voices being heard. Things will like progress better.
Empathy, right?
Yeah,
Empathy.
yeah.
I did this just quickly. I did it was a workshop for a particular dental office. Oh, such a great team. And I did initially when they were coming in, I ordered these just positive sayings off of Amazon. Okay. And I had a bunch at every table, and everybody had to pick one that resonated with them. Okay. Yeah. So they got to keep it, their little card that had the saying on it or the quote. And then they had to share it with somebody. They had to share it to the person next to them. Mm-hmm. And Marc, there were tears.
Oh no, I love that. That's awesome. Yeah.
It was wonderful. And then some of them shared and they would say like, I've been working with you for 8 years and I had no idea that this was going on in your life, or I had no idea that you felt this way. And so imagine the connection that happened in that room. And and you know what they did with that? I'm getting chills. They messaged me afterwards and said, oh my gosh, thanks so much. It was such an easy, but super beneficial exercise. And they took all of those quotes and they framed them all and they have it
that's cool. Very cool. Like
that,
you like pat
so
on,
simple.
Give yourself a little pat on the back. That's cool. That's great. I love that. I love
it too.
Yeah, we all have kind of like, I think on a day-to-day, we all kind of have our heads buried in the sand, right? So it's, and we all spend so much time working, and I think a lot of people at the end, like I think a core part of it is everybody kind of feels a little bit alone, right? Or maybe a little bit afraid to share. But what a great idea to get everybody kind of putting it all out there, and it's okay. Like it's like our industry is like, female heavy. And so it's more, I think even, guys need to kind of get that out there a little bit more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So awesome idea. So tell me, let's jump back into the business. What are you doing? What's special? Why are you different than any other outfits out there?
Why am I different?
Yeah. How? In what ways?
Oh my gosh. Well, I love to teach and add value by just educating. So I do a lot of presentations when I go into the hygiene schools or the assisting schools. I don't go in and just say, hey, like this is my company, we're recruiters. Yeah. I want to actually teach you something. I want to teach you how can you be the best possible dental professional that you can be in up level. And so that's where I started with my company, is going out and educating. And I started getting asked to come back and back and educate on the same things that they weren't hearing. And so for that reason, I ended up co-writing 2 books with a lady one of my recruiters, she works with me. She's actually on the West Coast as well. And so we put these books together based on all of the feedback that we've heard. And just so that we could, it wasn't a financial thing for financial gain. It was really so that we can have something tangible to teach people so that they can really take their profession to the next level. So the education piece is huge. We really care. And I know most people do really care, but we keep in touch with our clients. Obviously, we've been really, really fortunate to have a lot of repeat clients and referrals because we do what we say we're going to do. We're very transparent and integral on both sides with the dental practice owner, but also the dental candidate. With the dental practice owner, we always ask them like, hey, are you open to feedback? Are you open to feedback from candidates? Because there are times where the candidates will be like, oh, I don't want to work there, because A, B, C, D. And if it's a common theme, we'll share that with the dentist.
Give me an example of that. I went like that. That's a really, to me, if I was a practice owner, that would be of huge value. to hear.
Yes. But most
Like
people
if
don't
I'm
really
doing
like,
something, like it's hard for it's constructive criticism. It's not like a bash. I'm sure it's put out there in a very professional manner. But
yeah.
yeah.
And if you can take it that way, Mark, like that you shared, it is, oh gosh, that's the game changer.
Right.
That's the difference. It makes the difference.
Yeah.
So the common thing that we hear would be, the office is toxic, and the dentist favors the office manager who's very catty, or, isn't really doing what they're supposed to be doing, or, I don't feel appreciated. They're very abrupt. There's never a thank you. We're expected to do, work overtime with no thank you, with no pat on the back. So really it's more to do around office culture without getting into the specifics.
Yeah.
But, and they'll share that with us. And then if our clients are open, we'll share that with them, and vice versa, right? Like, we will be upfront and honest with our candidates who are looking for a job to say, hey, you didn't make it because of this. And maybe you might want to do this for the next interview so that we can help educate them. And again, that's one of the reasons why, we wrote these books, because we wanted to be able to educate that way.
Yeah. And the dating process is, it's tough too, right? Like, some people are very good at an interview. And some people are very shy, and might come across that they're a completely different person. Right?
Absolutely. And that's where we act as an intermediary, because we're getting to know the candidate. We know our client. We know what the client's looking for and whether the candidate's going to be a fit. Because typically we'll have first the phone conversation, then we do a Zoom, and we'll do several follow-up interviews, because we like to make sure that, the candidate shows up when they say they're going to show up. Because you can be great that first time, but if you're not consistent, then I'm not going to be sending you over to this client, right?
Right.
I don't want no-shows on the first day. That doesn't make us look good, or them look good. And we're very straight up and honest with the dental candidate, saying, listen, if you can't be there for some reason, let us or the dentist know, because you're cutting your nose off to spite your face, not just with them, but with us, and we will no longer work with you. Right. So having that professionalism is so key. And so we educate and share that with the candidates as well. And we will share with them if there's something that was glaringly, not getting them the job. And also, we help them with negotiating. So sometimes, the dental practice owner has an idea of what they're going to offer, but that's not really appealing to the dental professional. So for example, I've got a client out east where she's offering relocation fees, but that's actually not what the associate's looking for. They would prefer to have travel expenses to go back and visit their family a couple times a year overseas. So that's appealing to them. Or maybe a dentist wants, time off for CE courses. That's really important to them. So this is where we delve into more of a conversation and a relationship, and keep in touch with them so that we can help along with the negotiation process. And that's beneficial to the candidate as well as the dental practice owner.
Are you just specifically, is it full time, or are you delving in the temp agency world as well? Is that something you dabble in?
Well, I'm glad you asked that.
Yes.
Because so I started the company with full-time permanent recruitment. And of course, naturally, our clients every so often ask us, like, hey, can you help us with a temp?
Sure.
And it's such a laborious effort. Like, it is, honestly, takes a lot of time. So I thought, I need to do something where it systemizes things for us as, recruiters, but also for the dental practice owner and for the temp. So I've been working diligently over the last couple of years, and finally about to launch a dental temping app.
So this is the app. Perfect. I was going to ask about it, but okay, cool. That's awesome.
So I'm launching next week at the ODA. So I'm not sure when we're airing this, but it may, if you're hearing this and it's after the ODA ASM, then we are launching beta next week. So anybody who comes to the booth, and wants to register, they're going to enter into our beta program where they get extra perks, and we'll be waiving fees and things like that for the dentist. And anybody else, reach out and we can get you set up as well. So.
And it's sort of bilateral that you can jump on as the employer and the employee. Yeah.
Correct.
Cool. Yeah. So, or are you creating your own profile? Are you like, can you make a video of yourself and put that out there? Like, yes, you can. Yeah. That's a great idea.
So you can, as in the app, as a dental professional, you can put a 60-second clip in your profile. So you have your own profile on there. It's basically your resume, the hours that you're available to work. And if you want to, you can put a video on there showcasing, your personality. You don't have to, but you can. That's an option there.
You should. Video is awesome. It really is.
Yeah. And then what's amazing is that we've integrated it with Stripe. So what's really unique about our system is that the dental temp is going to get paid faster directly into their bank account. So there's no having to invoice. There's no back and forth. It's basically dental practice owner signs up, and credit card will be involved on that end. And once the transaction's done, it will pull from the credit card and push into the temp. So it's a very seamless, quick process. And that's what we wanted.
Fun. And that's been the baby, developing the baby over a couple of years. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the idea was a couple of years ago, and then there's a lot to it to make sure.
There's a lot of moving parts for sure. Yeah.
Especially with the API of Stripe and integrating all that and making sure that we're crossing our T's and dotting our I's. And so it's been fun.
That's fun. That's cool. Awesome. What else? What else can you tell me about? Is there anything else that's exciting that's at the tip of your mind?
Gosh. Well, like I said, the book that launched those 2 books in November, and you can find those on Amazon. So that's really been fun. I'm doing a lot of speaking engagements and training for dental practice owners. So that's something that I love to do. So reach out if you need help with that. And then, of course, the dental temping app. If you're interested, you can sign up for free. Everybody can sign up for free and check it out. We'd love to hear from you.
Just looking on the site here. Where can we find it on the website?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Next week. Yeah. So we haven't uploaded it to
there's your book.
The App Store yet. That's So that's the book. So if you go to the website, everything is there, enspireopportunities.com. You can see, the book is available there where you can click on and go to Amazon. You can sign up as well. So if you're a dental professional and you're looking for a full-time job, we have a sign-up page where you can be added to a database. Cool. And then when full-time opportunities come up, we send them out to our database so that you'll get notified immediately. Very, very cool. Well,
next week it's going to be busy, or this coming week it's going to be busy.
Yeah.
What's your booth number?
1906.
Yeah.
So come and visit.
1906. Awesome. And are you like handing out socks like those two
those Rizio girls?
Those crazy nuts?
I love them. They're so fun. And I have some socks. Gosh, I should have worn them for today. So I'm going to be giving away some fun swag. I'm going to have a bunch of my books there as well. And so instead of ordering on Amazon and having to pay for shipping, you can actually buy them right at the event. And I'll be giving a free swag bag, Enspire swag bag to put that in. And then also we're doing a giveaway for Blue Jays tickets, for VIP Blue Jays tickets in the TD booth, and you get a VIP parking. So if you want to do that, then come by, put your, sign up, and we'll put your name in a draw, and we'll do a fun giveaway.
Hey, I'll win it. I'll just have to come. I'll have to come back. That's all.
Yes, absolutely.
Any like a quote that you live by? Is there anything that like any imparting knowledge or wisdom that you can share? I'm sure you have millions of different quotes.
I have lots of quotes, but the one that is standing out to me right now is because of my daughter who has just been asked to be a national diver. I'm super excited for her. She just started.
Cool. Right on.
Yeah, she
That's
just
very
started
cool.
7 months ago and is rocking it. But she had a dive competition last month where
I'm sorry, I missed that. She started 6 months ago.
7 months ago.
And she's asked to be a national diver already after 7 months.
So she was
Holy
in gymnastics.
Mackerel. Yeah. That was my next guess. Yeah.
Yeah. So she was in gymnastics, got to provincials. She's super athletic. She's just a natural talent. Decided that was enough for her and switched over, wanted to do diving, but never dove before. So she found the program, went to the Begin to Dive program. And the first day the coach is like, no, we want you in competitive. So they pushed her into competitive. And here I'm like, oh, brother, here we go again. And so anyway, a big learning curve because it is very different from gymnastics, but she had the spatial awareness and obviously the confidence and the strength. Yeah. But through there, she's just excelled. She's put a lot of work into it. Cool. But her first competition, she came last. And she was still a team player. She still got out of the water, had a smile on her face, but I could tell she was broken. Yeah. And at the end of the day, she was really, really, really sad and upset. And I slept with her that night and I tickled her back. And in the morning, she had another competition. And so I gave her an elastic band and basically said, what I want you to do is every time you think of something negative, you're going to snap your way out of it. Just snap it and change your mindset. And so what I did the following night is I went on Amazon and I purchased a bunch of bands, again, along the same notion of those cards that I gave that dental office. And I found a bunch of just wristbands. And one of them said, fall down 6 times and get up 7.
I like it.
And she picked that one and she wears it all the time now because there's 7 different dives that you do. And that's what's resonating with me. So if I can say any quote, I'm going to say to you guys is with anything that you're doing,
just keep at it.
Just get up. Just keep going.
Yeah.
No matter how many times you fall down, get up that one last time. And that will be the difference. It makes a difference.
I love it. I love it. It's so true. Yeah. If you let life beat you up, it will. It will. Yeah. And if you're trying anything that's a challenge, it's the ones that get up again. I love it.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, thank you so much for your time. I look forward to seeing you next week here.
I look forward to seeing you as well. Thank you so much for having me on. That was a lot of fun.
You're welcome. Anytime. We'll have to do this again.
I'd love to. Thanks, Mark.
All right. Take care.
Bye.